guess where I'm at? It's been at least 1 week since Pokemon GO Fest ended. I wanted to show you guys what Chicago looks like when there is no Pokemon GO Fest. Chicago is, of course, one of the best places in the world to play Pokemon Go, but it's not necessarily how it is during GO Fest all year round. This is basically what Chicago looks like without Pokemon GO Fest. I'm actually walking over to Grant Park right now. I want to show you guys what it looks like over there. So interestingly, something that people don't really know about is that Grant Park is actually kind of a dead zone. We don't actually go out and play there often. Like, there really isn't much in Grant Park aside from Pokemon GO Fest every year. Most of the people here usually go to like Lincoln Park Zoo or Navy Pier for Community Day, and we don't really go out to Grant Park. So aside from Pokemon GO Fest, there really is no reason to go there Pokemon Go wise. So what does Chicago look like when Pokemon GO Fest is not in town? Well, this is how it looks right here. As you can see, all of the lures are not fully lit up. And of course, during Pokemon GO Fest, all of the lures are lit up 24/7. That's not necessarily the case when Pokemon GO Fest leaves town. All of the lures here, this is basically what you see typically in Chicago. There's just, you know, a couple of lures here and there, and usually it's someone that's eating at a restaurant and they want to set up some lures while they eat. But it's not as bumping as you typically see. Most of the people that are out grinding, they're only grinding for Pokestops and general spawns. They're not going to be throwing down lures, which is fine because you could still get a whole bunch of Stardust and Pokeballs and experience playing in downtown Chicago even when there is no Pokemon GO Fest. But I'm just saying, this is typically what you see. There's actually a raid up here. I'm going to do that real quick. Oh, there's also a Marip as well, but I don't know if I'm going to do that one. I have quite a lot of shiny Kyogre, so I don't really feel the need to do Kyogre, but might as well do it for the experience and the rare candies because we do have that Go Fest stuff going on. That's the nice thing about Chicago. Even if there is no Go Fest, these raids still fill up pretty quickly. That's just the nature of how it is in this big city. 13 people in the lobby already. All right, let's actually see how this ends up going. I don't recognize a single person in this lobby. I want to say they're not spoofers, but there is a chance that most of these players are spoofers. That's also kind of how it is in Chicago. Especially a week after Go Fest, a lot of spoofers tend to just stay here and play Pokemon Go here. Downtown Chicago is still pretty lit. We got like 20 people in the lobby like real quickly. It's about 5 minutes after the lobby started. Hoping to get this down. I need a hundo or at least a shiny. I actually have a bunch of shinies, but I want a really good one. Most of my shinies are in like the 80% IV range, which is garbage. Here we go. Let's see what IVs I get. It's weather boosted. What is the perfect IV weather boosted? Maybe at least it'll be shiny? It's not shiny. I feel like I should really try with this catch. I feel like this is a really great IV. Alright, I gotta put the camera down for this catch. That was a terrible throw. Oh! Oh man, my throwing is so bad. There you go, 15 attack. But what is the actual perfect IV? Now for 2900, it's saying that it's 98%, but I'm pretty sure that's wrong. It was 86%. I was looking at the IV charts of what it was pre-nerf or pre-buff. GG, rip. The weather's actually really beautiful right now. You kind of wish that Niantic would have capitalized on this by having Go Fest just a week later. I'm just kidding. It's actually raining really hard. I jumped out of the car at the moment it started getting sunny again. So June is the rainiest month of Chicago. It's like right between like April and June. It's like always rainy. It's always like this random weather. Like it's gonna be really cold, then it's gonna be really hot. But quite honestly, I actually enjoyed the weather at Go Fest. Certainly beats July, which is our hottest month out of the year. That was kind of like my thing with Pokemon GO Fest for the last 2 years. It was always in the middle of July when it's piping hot in Chicago. July is like one of the worst months. It gets stupidly hot. It's stupidly humid. It's just not a fun time. But hey, the rain actually cools down the city. It's pretty nice. All right, this is really weird. Look at this, guys. Grand Park is completely emptied out. Wonder why that is. Looks like they took out all of these spawns, all of the Pokestops, and all of the gyms that are typically here, even with Go Fest not being in town. It does look like there's some kind of private event going on in Grand Park. Maybe they just forgot to take out all of the Pokestops and gyms that are typically here. I don't know, it's kind of a dead zone. That's really weird to see. Even though I mentioned earlier that people do not play at Grand Park, there's still a lot of Pokestops and gyms that are typically here outside of Pokemon Go Fest, but it looks like they just completely wiped it out of existence. So there you go, guys. This is what Grand Park looks like without Pokemon Go Fest. Ooh. So yeah, it goes without saying that Niantic brings pretty much the entire world to Chicago for Pokemon Go Fest. Like, this place is just filled up with Pokemon trainers, Pokestops, lures, just all the good stuff. But as soon as everyone leaves, it's not as completely lit. It's not as filled up with all these people, but it's still pretty good. But once Pokemon Go Fest ends, it goes back to normal. It looks like any other city. And of course, that's gonna be expected because it's not like Chicago has all of the Pokemon Go players in the world living here, although that would be pretty awesome. But it's still pretty fun here. I mean, honestly, like, there's still people out raiding right now. Like, I have a couple of raid groups that I could join right now, and there's a couple of Wafu raid groups that are gonna happen during next week. And there's always people that are grinding, there's always people that are playing. That's just typically how it is here in Chicago. Grant Park is interestingly a ghost town now, which is really weird. Maybe that's an issue from Niantic. Like, did they forget to turn back on like the Pokestops and gyms? Like at least last year they turned off all the Pokestops and gyms at Lincoln Park Zoo right before Pokemon Go Fest, but they turned them back on right after. But it's been a week and looks like they kind of forgot about Grand Park, so hopefully Niantic will get on that. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here. And yeah, I'm Count Jinsula, and I'll catch you all later.